This program
is now that part of the program when we just
Unbox, 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 unbox.
What's inside the box?
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Friday. It's about time that we started. Really appreciate everyone coming through. Hope that everything is audible and all that. Been a while since I've done a live stream, so as I mentioned in the description, the stuff's been piling up, and editing is a pain. So let's just do it. Let's rip into some stuff. First off, I'd love to say hello. Thank you so much for folks for stopping by. Chris, Shiny Plastic People, thank you for all the crazy support you've offered. Quip. Yarr. And Adam, thanks for stopping in. Totally get it. I'll probably join you in a little bit. But yeah, I don't have any like big things to say other than unbox. Today, we're going to be looking at least the plan is to look at two figures. But as you'll see in a little bit, I've got a couple of options depending on how fast things go. I'm really not trying to be here super long, but I'm a little out of practice. So let's just see how quick things move along, and we'll go from there. All right. So let's really focus on what's important here, right? Let's focus on this. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at some awesome female figures today, some women warriors, right? It is March. It is Women's History Month. International Women's Day is coming up. And if you haven't figured it out, just based on what you're seeing here, I do my best to actually seek out women warrior figures because, there aren't nearly as many women figs that come out in toy lines. Growing up, I remember being a G.I. Joe fan, and we had Scarlet, one among a bunch of dudes for a little bit, and then CoverGirl showed up, right? And then I think, what was it after? Oh, Baroness. And, we're talking 20, 30 male Joes before we got, Lady J, Zarana. And I could probably keep going, but I'm pretty sure that's about it. I don't know. That was G.I. Joe. Anyway, and we've heard people talk about why these toy lines don't release more women action figures, female action figures. We've heard people, say they don't sell as well. That said, I figure one way they might sell better is if we looked at them a little bit more and maybe bought them a little bit more. And I figure, well, I'm going to try and help out where I can because I love having variety on my shelf. And as you can see, variety comes in many shapes and forms, sort of. The shape part, I think we got to work on it. Anyway, what you're looking at here, and I apologize for the focus thing. I've been trying to sort of figure it out, but whatever. You get the idea. We've got Marvel Legends figs here today, sort of just to greet us, right? These aren't the main show. We've got some Mythic Legions women. This is a Dwarven woman, a little bit shorter, not exactly the original figure. There's a little bit of like changes, bits and pieces, and armor. But just kind of want to start off with a little appetizer, if you will, just sort of looking at some of the other figs in my collection. There are more. I've got a couple of different Masters of the Universe women figs, a couple of Wonder Women, but they're not all here. So anyways, that's the Marvel Legends. We've got another Marvel Legends. This one, I picked up on clearance, but I like the idea of her, being younger and shorter and having a gigantic head compared to her body. But hey, so very kiddish, right? We've got wrestling figures, right, that I've kind of like slowly am trying to work into the overall aesthetic of this weird sort of fantasy, science fiction-y thing I've got going on. So let's see. What else have we got going on? Move some folks out of the way. Jade. I love this Jade figure. I don't know that I've posted. I don't think I've posted the video that I took of her unboxing. Again, folks, editing takes a long time, which is why you'll find that a lot of us just default to live streaming, right? And yeah. Quip's got the idea. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah, I like to try to keep things short and sweet where possible. Berenice, which I did review and edit, and she's available on the channel. Great figure. And she was the first woman figure from the Combatants Fight For Glory line that I unboxed. There's another Mythic Legions figure, again, not the original head to toe, but I absolutely love the sort of face markings on this character. Anywho, Mythic Legions women. We've got, of course, some Masterverse action here with Shira from the Princess of Power. Her unboxing is available on the channel. But as we sort of clear the stage a little, here's the main show as advertised. We're looking at Evil-Lyn, Sorceress Lyn, aka Bat-Lyn from the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse line, specifically from Revelation, the subline, and Tadala from the Combatants Fight For Glory, a companion from the same wave as Berenice. Again, depending on time, I've been sitting on this one for a while. This would probably be my next priority if we got to it. Again, don't know if we will, but I am super curious. I've been sitting on this for a while, and I'm kind of curious to know if like limbs are still attached per how other people's experience has been with these. It's such high hopes for those, but maybe those hopes will be met. And then still have Latya to open up, the last of the 3 women from this wave of Combatants Fight For Glory. So let's go ahead and get started. I hope these figures are interesting to you. Let's just check in again, see who's here. Yeah, we are gonna be looking at aka Bat Mommy. Let's see. Yeah, that Jade Cargill works. I think so. And I love messing with soft goods to kind of add a little bit more volume to these figures. Great head sculpt on that one. Let's see. A gentleman never leaves a lady on the pegs. Love it. Nick Dillinger, what's up? Thank you for stopping in. Woo indeed. Awesome. Ostradamus is here. What's up, Oz? My Buddy's Custom says, what's up? Hey, Brick. And let's see. It's like I'm unboxing a wave of Amazons. Absolutely. That's kind of the style I got going on my shelf these days. Okay. A lot of different, let's see what else. Actually, Quip, 100% agree. These are great. And we're going to find out today if that continues in this line with Tadala. And with this one, truly a Schrodinger's D&D figure, right? What is the deal? It's equal parts broken and unbroken until you open it. How does one know a thing? By doing and seeing. Okay. So I'm going to move this out. I will let you know that I'm aware. Sorry if things are weirdly out of focus. I'm becoming more aware of sort of the production quality of what's going on with my cameras. So trying a little bit of a different setup, but it's like I have to kind of move it into a particular mark to get it focused up. So here's Tadala. We're going to open her up. But we're going to go in the order as advertised. So I'll have Tadala ready to go. And I've got the women here in support. I'm gonna just kind of hang out. Let's get homegirls bow out of the way. Cool. All right. Again, before we start, thanks again for showing up. I really appreciate the support, folks. Still trying to figure out this channel. We've been alive since August, officially on my 46th birthday, and we're doing it. So, shall we with Masters of the Universe Revelation Evil-Lyn? Odd, because there have been a couple of figures that have actually said that exact same thing. No real distinction. It's just Evil-Lyn. Fair enough. This character, this figure, when I saw her come out, I was a little bit torn, to be honest with you. I didn't know how this sort of like painted on nylon stockings would work. I figured, that we might need some texture, but it's just straight up printed on here. And I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Let's open her up. Jeez. Come on, Brick. All right. Oh, artwork. I mean, come on now. Look at this artwork. She looks fantastic. This whole bat motif is fantastic. If you're into Motu lore, you're probably aware that this sort of this version of a sort of bat, what would we call it, like an avatar or a, I don't know, spirit guide, has been a thing in Masters of the Universe. There has been sort of a bat as the sort of animal source of or god behind Evil-Lyn's powers. We've seen that in a couple different forms in the comics, in the CGI show, and in Revelation. So just like the sorceress proper has Zoar, the eagle, or the eagle, not the eagle, the hawk. Ooh, I don't know. My bad. And there's a sort of ram entity too, if you were paying attention to Revelation, right? So there's and then there's the snakes, of course, Serpos. We've got this character whose name, the bat god, whose name escapes me. So when they turned her into a sorceress, they gave her the full-on bat motif. This painting's pretty cool too. I will say, not my favorite from the packaging. It feels a little static, but still visually pretty cool. All right, moving on. Hope you were able to read that because I'm really here for the figure. I'll be honest. Check her out in, God, that face. Face is amazing. Oh, lighting situation here, I just realized is limited. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm gonna unbox this. You're gonna hear the crinkle of this nasty plastic. There she is. What is up, my sorceress? Let's get her on a stand. Get her hanging out. I'm cheating, Chris. I'm cheating. I'm going to give her the support so that she can stand there in all her glory. Enjoy. I don't know. Is that in focus, folks? You tell me. No, it looks like coming closer. Yeah, I got to hit that mark. It's trip. What's going on, Scott? Thank you so much for coming through. I 100% agree, bud. I absolutely love this version of the character. Bud says he was just doing some photos with the scene from the show where she turns into the sorceress. What scene is that? Care to elaborate? Shiny Plastic People saying, yeah, I wish there was a little more texture to Lyn, but still a solid figure. Yep. That was my wondering when it came to sort of this costume, because really it's supposed to be stockings, right? But I will say and we'll get to it. If you take a look at some of these, the sort of precision of these, I don't even, does anybody actually know in the chat how they're doing this these days? Is this someone doing this by hand? Doing all that line work? Are we talking, is there use of stencils? What's going on? Because it's pretty damn precise. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So Bud's saying it was heart-wrenching to rewatch that scene again to get those posing right. And now I can't wait even more for the deluxe Duncan Man-at-Arms figure that I hope is coming out soon. Yep. He's the one figure I've budgeted for. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of budgets and buying, particularly Masterverse, when January hit, I had to make a, let's say, substantial order of Mythic Legions with a Necronominous wave. So I was kind of hit pretty hard at the beginning of the year, and I told myself I'm not going to get any Masterverse until things are on sale. I immediately, I'd say early February, I broke that vow with her, and too bad. Still haven't unboxed, but hey. All right. And thank you. It's hard to sort of watch the chat. So here we've got this sorceress deriving her power from this bat god. If anybody knows the name, Bud, looking at you maybe. I'd appreciate it. And the sorceress and eventually Tila, spoiler alert, when she becomes a sorceress, derives her power from Zoar the Falcon. Cool. All right, I'm going to sort of go through. Let's see. Thank you for addressing. I was really curious about how this is done. Scott is saying, I would think it's a Tampo print, but I don't know that for sure. And I'm not familiar with the tech of the Tampo. Is that like a, what do they call these things? A pad printer? Is that a particular printing process? Welcome to ENJ. Thank you so much for stopping in. Vintage Motu, what's going on, man? Great to see you. And of course, Eldor. Hello there, Brick Sir. And good evening. Oh, I'm assuming this is in reference to my, and I'm just going to keep sort of handling the figures and moving them around for you to see on camera while I read the comments and yada yada. It's always awkward. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do while you guys are looking at figures? Yeah, it was a big boy purchase, and I'm assuming you're referring to my Necronominous wave. That was definitely a big boy purchase, or I don't know, man. If you talk to my partner, she'd say it's a little boy purchase, a big little boy purchase. But I pre-ordered some of the Necronominous wave on BPTS, so it's a longer wait, but I don't have to worry about paying for it right now. Absolutely. And you know what, Bud? You can also cancel at any time. And I just say that as sort of someone who has been there, right, and had to make shifts. There are some pluses to maybe potentially paying a little bit more for Mythic Legions by going through a retailer like BBTS. And I will say you do wait a little bit longer. But yeah, at the end of the day, yep. That's a future me's problem. Future me's? Are you living a multiversal reality these days, bud? Okay, let's see what else is going on in the chat. Hello. Hey, what's going on? Highly articulated, Adam. What's going on? I am trying my best to do my version of the late night unboxings, I guess. Early. Thank you for breaking it down, though. Tampo is a pad printer. So it is a brand, I'm assuming, of pad printing. Tampo is a pad printer. Each color is a separate step. Got it. Yep. Didn't know the name Tampo. Like you, we're big Lego people, and that's where I sort of started to learn about pad printing, which is pretty fascinating. Okay. Either way, let's just kind of observe this figure for a second. I feel like I'm ignoring Lynn. First off, head sculpt. That's my big thing. if you've been paying attention to the channel, I'm a little bit of a connoisseur / snob when it comes to head sculpts. And I will tell you right now, this is not a head sculpt that I'm complaining about. Everything from this sort of headdress, if you take a look at that, man, that is fantastic. To her actual face. If I had any real sort of complaint about heads, one second. Super unprofessional. All right. I want to get this. It's a little storage bin of heads. If there's any complaint that I have about this figure, and it's a dumb one, but I'll say it anyways. I am a collector of Masterverse, and I you know what? I was about to say that I don't like it when they sort of switch sculpts on heads if they're meant to be the same character. Like sometimes they literally look like completely different people wearing Evil-Lyn cosplay, for example. But in this case, I stand corrected. I assumed. But I'm taking a look at this head from the first Evil-Lyn that we got right next to this head. And I want to say they're pretty close, if not almost the same sculpt. What do y'all think? They're looking, it looks like that is the same person. She's just wearing a headdress. And I wouldn't be surprised if they used the same face and sort of just took off the hair and glued it on. In which case, I totally put my foot in my mouth because they did exactly what I want, right? I love it if my He-Man, for example, on all the variants kind of look like the same person. I would love it if essentially Skeletor had the same. That's just me. Like that's a real dorky thing, but hey. But Shiny Plastic People says it's not fair to compare her to a waterbender. Come on now. Yeah, no, she totally looked like a waterbender, but anyway, very cool. This sculpt I love the makeup and the printing. I don't know why things are so dark here today, folks. Give me a sec. Let's try this. All right. Take a look at her, man. I love essentially what they've done with that makeup. Check out that eyeliner. Yeah, she's like checking out some Bauhaus a second ago, just rocking out, channeling Susie Sue in this full-on getup. If you know who that is, cool. Glad you're old like me. I'm kind of dancing. I've bouncing back and forth. Sorry, man. It's been a long day, and a couple people kept me up last night. No, that was by my choice. Jumping onto Toy Connection's stream and staying up way too late. Take a look at this figure, though. Take a look at the printing. This is what I was referring to earlier. Like this is all over the body, and none of this is in the sculpt, right? If you take a look, you can see it's pretty smooth. Right, it's like the figure imagines is naked, not really even naked, nude. She's wearing. Imagine she's wearing a leotard, right? So you don't see the details of her body, very little musculature, and they just opted to just straight up print. Yeah, I agree. It's likely printing. It's so precise. These features on her, even these stockings, as I was saying earlier, was kind of worried that would look kind of cheap, right? Maybe way too sort of like simple and basic, but it works. It actually does work because I think of the precision. I'll tell you right now, this knee's kind of tight and I am super lazy and I'm going to regret it later when we're opening up that Combatants Fight for Glory. So you know what? I'm not even going to bother on that knee. This knee's tight. Double jointed knees, no pegs. We've got the calf sort of boot swivel. We've got an ankle pivot here. that feels tight and I don't want to mess with it. It's also been pretty cold here in the Bay. She can do the full-on splits, the JCVD. We've got the cut at the thigh. All the classic toy tuber moves, right? She can do a T. She can do a little bit more than a T, slightly, right? Got the swivel on the bicep. Double jointed elbows. Pinless. So she can do some pretty cool, scary, like, magic hands. She's got, enjoy that manicure. Anyway, this is Evil-Lyn. Now, you're probably wondering, what is he going to actually address that cape? I am. So you'll see the way this is connected. I'm just going to pop this off. Or am I? Oh. The head, this blue fur is actually connected to the head. That's actually a little bit of a bummer. I was looking to replace this maybe with some real fur, but sure. Yep, the head is oh, no, it's not. See. Come on, Brick. There you go. That head is dope. Huh. Unfortunately, because of that fur, as Bud points out, this sort of hard plastic, like her head don't move with this thing on. No, design decision. And thank you, Bud, for breaking that down. Thank you. Right on, Scott. See you later. Thanks for stopping in. Ian asks, does the paint job not having a sculpt bug you at all? And it did. That was my biggest fear when I first saw this, but I'll tell you in hand, it actually doesn't. But I say that not really having the option, right? So like if I'm just looking at this as is, doesn't bug me. I'm good with it. I think she looks great. But I will tell you, it feels very cartoony. Right? Let me show you, actually compare. Right. This is not one of my favorite figs, but I had to get her. She was super cheap. But take a look at all the sculpt, right, in that, and it gives it that dimension that just makes the figure feel a little bit more substantial. Granted, this is a cartoon property. Maybe they're just sort of leaning into that, and generally that's the case with Masterverse. However, and this has a little bit of a sculpt. I don't know if you can see, right? This, her brassiere sort of top right here actually is three-dimensional, but this sort of like neck piece here around the cowl is not. As we talk, the idea of it bugs me. But in hand and the way I'm looking at it, it does not. So on the shelf, she's standing there with other folks. It's not. I mean, this Berenice has a ton of sculptural like detail, right? And this doesn't. But if I'm just looking at them on the shelf, it's not the first thing that grabs me. Do I wish that it had more of a sculpt? 100%. I do. So Bud's thinking, I'm thinking of carving out some of that plastic around where her head plugs into the blue fur so she can have more articulation. Yep. I was looking at that and wondering. Kayla, Silver K says hello. How's it going, Kayla? I'm looking forward to seeing you break down the MCU with Jay and Ken this Sunday. That's going to be dope. Check that out on Toy Connections, folks. Okay, so God, the live thing, man. How do you do this, Chris? Adam, just like, let's look at figures. I think that's why Adam says a lot. I hope I'm not boring you. And I'm hearing your voice in my head. This deal, this cape, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fan of Masterverse capes. These feel really flimsy and cheap to me. One person's opinion. Especially when you're used to handling soft goods from other lines that are a little more substantial, right? The idea of it's sort of like this, almost like, I don't know, this fabric does not feel luxe at all, man. It just feels super cheap. But that's just me. Other people are totally fine with it. The idea here with these garters is that you're supposed to sort of put it around her arms. So I'm taking off her hands and I'm going to loop these in so we can take a proper look at this figure as intended by the designers. Mind you, when I say things like, oh, I don't like this cape, it's just critique. And that's okay. But it seems like I mentioned this on a stream last night, that we've hit this place in toy culture and maybe even beyond. But in toy culture, where if you say, oh, yeah, I really love this thing, it's really great, people are quick to call you a shill. And if you critique something, people are saying you're hating. And it's just like, man, there's no in between. I'm just observing. I'm just being critical right now about this cape. And you know why? Because if we're not critical, then companies like Mattel think, yeah, no, everybody's totally fine with this. When other companies like your, say, Mythic Legions, right? Or your Savage Crucible, who's going to be featuring capes by the Strupp family crafts. Mattel's going to feel like, oh, yeah, no, everybody's fine with what we're giving. It's fine. When I know for a fact that there are other options out there and other things they could be doing. And so for me, it becomes a point, something to point out. Yeah, this is making me feel like a super amateur. Here we go. Come on. At least these garters are tight and they end up on black parts. They're black garters on black parts of the figure. So they do sort of fade away and disappear to the eye, which is kind of cool. I think these are fine solutions. I do wonder if there were maybe more elegant solutions, or at least maybe using a material that read a little bit differently, that didn't just feel like, oh yeah, those are garters. All right. This is odd. This fur piece is odd. Oh, the other thing I'll say about the capes, I am so not into how they put these capes and actually connect them into these plastic pieces. They did the same thing with She-Ra on both. She comes with two different capes, but it's sort of built into this plastic neck piece. And it just makes it a little bit more challenging if you're going to customize it. And I don't know, I don't think that they're the best solution. But again, I know I'm being critical. It doesn't mean that I don't like this figure. Because I will tell you right now that I actually really do like this figure. The look of the figure. There are a lot of things to appreciate about her. And I will say, if you look at the characters that they bothered to make for Masters of the Universe Revelation, we're getting 3 different versions of Evil-Lyn. And that's a milestone for the IP. Right. And rightfully so, because she was a central character with a major arc in Revelation. And we got 2 Teela figures. So I do want to highlight that about Mattel. They were actually not at all shy about doing women figures. We started this stream off talking about how, like, yeah, at one point, getting female action figures were sort of few and far between. But got to give it up to Mattel. Credit where credit's due. They went right off the bat and gave us a couple of women. So yeah. What up, Todd? What's up, Todd? Get your act together, Todd. Anyway. Let's talk about this cape for a second. Oops, not that one. So thankfully with this, oh, sorry to go back. Bud's talking about these arm getting this cape on was kind of a pain, a PETA, right? Pain in the ass. First, he says it's easier to have her arms straight down at her sides, then slip the loops on both arms, then pull it up and place the cowl around her neck. Pro tip. Absolutely, you're probably right. Yep. From messing with her and Sorceress, this is the best way to get those capes on. Yep, I'm really looking forward to that Sorceress figure. Not something I'm getting right away. He agrees with something. I forgot what I said, but thankfully with Sorceress, the cape on the new wave, there's a plastic cap. There you go. That goes on over 2 pegs that you can pry off to get the cape off her back if you want to customize her. I was talking about the connection points, the way that these cheap, flimsy plastic, these cheap, flimsy fabric that they use for these capes is connected to the plastic parts. So Bud says, sadly, they do glue the pegs in, so it does break the figure. But you can glue it back on after you customize it to your desire. I still will take these terrible soft good capes over the hard sculpts most companies do. Amen. Hallelujah. 100% agree. I appreciate a good cape. Plus, it's easier to replace in many cases. But let me give you an example of where maybe a little bit of structure to a cape would have been good and would have been less PETA. Yep. PETA, what up? If you maybe notice from the thumbnail, there's a a picture that Mattel took with this, where they had her arms outstretched and these were sort of like perfectly out there. If there was a wire here, I could do that, right? And it would retain the shape of that wing. And otherwise, it's just this kind of floppy mess. Take a look at that. Ooh, that's intimidating. Yeah, look at that cape. Ooh. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Come on, man. I don't know. You can't walk down the runway like that, right? Anyway, soft goods aside, love the design of the character, and I feel like this translation into 3D form is a solid translation of what we saw in Revelation. That cape looks good, even it's a pain to get on. I do think visually it does look good, except for this little floppy thing, and that's just me. Eldor saying, indeed, I think the Sorceress will be the only one I can pick up next week out of all the drops. Oh my God, this weighs too many drops. But hey, we'll get it while we can, because what the countdown is till April 1st. No, I'm teasing. Ian J says, oh yeah, wired capes. Charge me more and give me wired capes. Yep. If you're a fool like me, you will often pay more or close to about the same amount for some of these figures for a good cape. And then most of the time, even more for a good head if the figure requires it. This one does not. I love this one. Ian felt that way with the movie Skeletor. He's really good, but he needs that dynamic cape action. Yeah, some of those McFarlane capes are a bit ridiculous, like the Spawn Mega Fig with the fur cape, but it's just 2 pounds of plastic scrap. Yep. Yeah. And thank you, Kayla. Thank you. Smack that like, y'all. Or be gentle, whichever you prefer. Eldor says, yes, I hope for a wee bit longer on those Wave 8 pre-orders, but nope, they dropped there today. Okay, I'm taking a while. Sorry. Let's move on. Let's say goodbye to the Sorceress Lyn. It's actually, I do want to point this out. I love this. This is the extension of that cowl. Very cool. I don't know. I really love that figure. And maybe someday I'm going to try putting this head on some other figs and see if I can do something with it, because I really, really love that head. All right, Lyn, you've had your moment. Let us set you aside for a second and let us move on to Dun, 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 dun. Combatants Fight for Glory. Combatants Fight for Glory. If you're not familiar with this line, it's because this is an indie line, a small company that came out one wave ago. I have one figure from that. Actually, I think it's 2 waves ago now. Yeah. Ambulus, this gladiator. That was the first one I got. And then I got a bunch from this wave. Oh, wave 2. Sorry, that is wave 2. XesRay said, you know what? We gave you a bunch of dudes, a bunch of half-naked dudes with weapons in wave 1. We're going to give you a bunch of half-naked women in this wave. And I appreciated that, right? And so I ended up grabbing every single one of the women and the 2 trainees. Again, a small company, XesRay's Studio. Some of you are likely not familiar at all. I've heard people when I show them this are like, what is that? I've never even seen that, right? If you're sort of following mainly maybe more mainstream retail lines, this is not something you'll find in retail, right? This is something you can pick up, I believe you can pick them up on Big Bad Toy Store. I get them from 5K Toys. Cool company that has all sorts of fun, weird little indie toys that just drop out of nowhere. You know, they don't have the big machinery that say a Hasbro or a Mattel do to kind of advertise and whet our appetites. They're not backed by it. There's no cartoon. There's no Combatants Fight for Glory cartoon. There's not even a comic that I know of. Per some of the conversations I've been having lately about this sort of new age of toys, the indies, right, are killing it right now. And kind of what I want to look at tonight, aside from sort of having the theme of some women figures, is also do a little bit of comparing and contrasting of how the indies approach things and how Mattel, one of the big 2 action figure companies, billion-dollar corporation, handles their women action figures, right? So let's again put Evil-Lyn, Bat-Lyn aside, and let's open up. Tadala is her name, the Vespid. All of them sort of have these animal type names, right? There she is with a mask on, and we'll take a look. Here she is. Sorry, I got to point this out. I pointed out last time. If you're wondering, her name is Tadala. Her nickname is Vespid. Her ethic is Numidian. I believe as an ethnic studies teacher, that's supposed to be her ethnicity, maybe not. City Neapolis, group Calidus. Yes, and there's all sorts of stuff here, and I'm going to move on. There's stuff here too, and I'm going to move on because this is one of those lines where honestly, I am not at all focused on the lore. There's the Colosseum. I know the basic lore. The basic lore is they are gladiators in a sort of Roman-esque, that sound, Colosseum, right? Gladiator setting. Here is Tadala. Their feet do have pegs, and they do work on these NECA stands that I use. They are a little large for them, so they'll kind of slip right off. But it'll allow her to hang out here in her spiffy little sandals. So there's the figure, the sculpt. Come on, lighting, where are you? There's Tadala. Take it in. Look at all those details. She does have a peg right there for an accessory. Per what I was saying about the stand, the second I lift her up, right, she comes right off that stand. Yeah, she's got something going on that armor, on that chest armor, right? This stuff is intense. Not at all trying to be creepy, but I will tell you, this is an adult toy, and not for the reasons that you think. Like these, I will not let my kids handle these without sort of supervision. These are super sharp. Same goes for some of the other sort of adult marketed toys from 5K, like that wolf. Like just posing it sometimes will give you little stabs. All right. Let's sort of examine her head to toe before I look at her accessories. First off, take a look at that armor and that metallic paint job in the light. That's legit. Look at that. That reads as metal to me. Cool sort of shoulder pauldron connected with a back peg there, just on that one side. You can see, if I trip too much on being able to sort of see the mechanics, that would bother me. But there's a geek in me that's intrigued by how that joint is put together. Notice that sort of two pieces of plastic there for the double knees. No pegs. Same here, right? Single joint on the elbows, though. Having lighting issues here, so yeah, that thing is not going to stay on. Okay. Charge your stuff, Brick. All right, so a couple of things I want to show you with this before I get to pulling out all the accessories. Here's the articulation. Her knee is it's not bad. There you go. These, I would recommend you heat them up. I would recommend you do as I say and not as I do. But it's Friday night. Work was a beast today. And taking risks. Just from, and I'll let you sort of see and hear how these things are, right? I love these figures. When I first opened my male gladiator Ambulus, didn't know what to expect, was wondering if, how they'd feel. Just wanted to check out an indie line that I wasn't familiar with. And I really love the way these joints feel and move and they pose up. I did have a weird little thing with Berenice. Where was that? But overall, I'll let you watch that video if you're curious. But these joints are awesome. And Quip appreciates when I point out her kili kili. That would be Tagalog for armpit. Pauldron. Similar to Mythic Legions, right? Plugs into that back peg. And the armor does come off. I am not going to take her off. It actually, it's doable. It takes time. And I don't know. I don't know that that's necessarily something I need to do. I love her skin tone. Man, the brown that they chose on this is like super rich and just warm. I love that. Right. And let's bring out another melanated woman out here. And I love the sort of like spectrum of skin tones that I'm able to get on my shelf with these figures. Tadala is looking awesome. Look at those abs. All right. The armor's cool. Everything about this is cool. I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fan of the sandals. It's just me. I would rather put on different feet. She has bare feet that she comes with. She has alternate hands. And she has this, which I'll go over in a little bit. Okay. So articulation. Can't do the Evil-Lyn. I will say Mattel, as far as articulation goes, gives us a little bit more movement with that. If you want to sort of see, again, you can see the mechanism there. If you had some decent light, that's how these figures are put together. It's sort of a dumbbell joint. It's a T, actually. It's probably not a T. It's anyway. Overall, love the musculature too. Those legs are awesome. Those arms are awesome. I am feeling her. pauldron fell off, but let's take it off for a second. Check out the hair sculpt. Those braids look amazing. Got that sort of darker wash inside there. Looks really good. The detail's great. Love it. Okay. So she comes with this awesome helmet. And people thought these were going to be alternate heads, but it's not. It's an actual helmet. And as I pointed out with the Berenice figure, these kinds of helmets, these removable helmets, are kind of hit and miss sometimes because they often don't fit right. And they can potentially rub paint off, especially when you've got figures like these that come from this sort of new crop of indies where they're painting things head to toe. That color on her face, the skin tone is not the plastic. That is paint. That is absolutely paint. And so repeatedly putting on these helmets on and off might become a little bit of an issue. But so far, I have not had that issue with my other Combatants Fight for Glory. So if you're wondering, like, how is he going to get this helmet on? Well, let's find out in a second, because I would love to come back here. The chat got away from me. Let's see. Again, some of us will smack. Some of us will gently pat the like button. My like button is open to all and has had lots of experience with all sorts of different treatments. So you do your thing. But hey, always pay more for a good head. I agree 100%. Right? Pay for a good head sculpt. Absolutely. Yeah. Bud says an easy customization for the ends of the cape. Oh, back to Homegirl over here is to let's see, get gel super glue, run it along the edge to the tip. Go ahead, Kayla. Go ahead. Let it dry and get a blacker color matching Sharpie and go over the glue to blend. Love that. Yeah, to give it some structure, right? Absolutely. I actually like plastic capes because I have no cape posing talent. Yeah, I hear that. But with modern capes with really good wires in them, I don't know. I don't think it takes a ton of talent, but also it's structural. Once you get it, you can kind of keep it there. But to each their own. They will stay straight and not curl. Yep. Okay, spicy toy talk. Well, that's because we have certain people in the chat that are bringing that spice to the chat, and the spice must flow. Highly Articulated says, I hope they gave you consent to grab them. We had an understanding prior. There is a safe word, so we're good. Okay, thank you, Adam. Adam gets me. Like that's my issue with these sandals. Like I'm all for a cute sandal. Don't get me wrong. These aren't cute. Yeah, they're feeling like K-Swiss. Yep, these got some real like pointy angles. Yep. And yes, and fantastic. Okay. What else is it saying? Printing the figures now makes for pinless joints, so indeed very clever, I think. Absolutely. Makes sense for Evil-Lyn. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for stopping in. I thought you were alive. I was yeah, I'm gonna go jump over. If you're still going live, let us know. Yep. This fig is awesome. Hey, what's going on? Hedgehog action. Oh, hey now. Hedgehog, you've got a couple of these, don't you? Yeah. I know you do. And popping in to say hello. Thank you so much, Studio Henge, Ken 10. Appreciate it. Love that too. See, if I were sharper, I'd know what that referred to, but I'm sure was 100% clever as always and fun. Okay, that other helm is sick. I believe this is what you're referring to. So let's get back to that. Let's go. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate you. Okay, here's the deal. How do you get this thing on? Well, XesRay is dope. Check it out. Yeah, check that out. Sorry, where's that peg? It pegs right in. The head pegs it down. Oh, come on. It's usually easier than that. Oh, there you go. Here we go. Dope braids. Look at that look. Be honest. Did you think that was going to happen? Did you? I gotta tell you, when I noticed that on Berenice too, I was super impressed because with this hair on, it didn't strike me as being this sort of extra layer. It works. Like it looks like a solid sculpt. She looks gorgeous with that hair, in my humble opinion. But then to realize, no, that hairpiece just sort of plops right off is awesome. And they took the time to sculpt it in a way. Take a look at her hair here. Still looks awesome, in my opinion. Right? The hair still works. So it's not like anything is missing. Unlike some of the things that maybe Masterverse has done with their figures and hair. It's not hair. I'm thinking Katra, right? You take off her mask and all of a sudden she's got two holes in the side of her head. Yeah, basically it's a fancy way of saying it's a wig. Yeah, I think so. As far as like if this were, say, a film and she's an actor playing a gladiator, but if we snap into the reality that no, she's an actual gladiator, I believe that's meant to be her real hair, right? And this is what she looks like with helmet head. Because you take that helmet and you slide it right on. And I need you to check this out. Look at those eyeballs. Look at the fit of this helmet. You can see those eyes line up perfectly in that helmet. And you saw I didn't have to do a whole lot of like, futzing around with her to make it land. It just is sculpted in a way where it fits right in just like that so that the eyes go where they need to in the mask. Let me do that again. Oh, here's fun. Like now I'm not going to get it off. Yes, I can get it off. Or maybe not. Awkward. Come on, homie. Oh, this is fun. Oh, man. But this is what I was referring to, that, you keep putting that thing on and off. And you could potentially be scratching up her awesome face, right? Hey, Hedgehog, appreciate it. Yeah, I've been having fun with some of the video editing stuff. Again, be gentle. But yes, you can smash it. Let's see. Oz made it back as work function is now over. Good, man. Friday night work functions. I don't know about all that, man. I don't know. Do they pay you enough? Just kidding. Thanks for jumping on, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't think it was the hair was coming off. Yeah. It's a trip, right? Absolutely great sculpt. I was intrigued by that too. Let's see. Oh, you know what? How about we do that? All right. Take a look at her. As far as articulation on the head goes, they use this soft plastic on the head that actually allows for her to do the Exorcist. What up, Linda? She does have a hole in her head. She does have a hole in her head. So, you know, unfortunate reality of the way they handle their hair. And we've got her back here. I don't know what I'm going to display. And again, the cool thing about this is I can display her without the wig, if you will, the extensions or the I can display her with, because those braids are awesome. Or I can display her with a helmet. Again, proof of concept. Take a look at what's going on inside here. You can sort of see the sculpt of the nose in there. Again, that's what helps line things up perfectly. That nose fits right into there. And it's super impressive. So, helmetless head. Hey, focus. Come on. Helmeted head. I could put it backwards. It should be like Dr. Fate. Okay, sorry. Nerd alert. Boom. Eyes. Right there. Awesome. 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 Again, she's not unique in this. Since we're on this sort of topic, I'm going to go back to Berenice for a second. I showed this in the video review. Here she is. This is Berenice. That's her helmet. There's Berenice. I don't have her hair piece on me. I am sort of curious if Tadala's hair can get on there. I don't know. I find that kind of a little rude, actually. But no, it doesn't work. This is her helmet head hair, and I actually like this better. You can check out the review on the channel to see what the alternate look is. But I love her without her helmet. But again, just to sort of show you, here's the helmet. Check out the eyes. Boom. Lined up. Ready for battle. Man. Anyway, all that to say, XesRay's Studio with Combatants Fight For Glory. They're kicking some ass. I am just really appreciating these figures and everything that goes into them. You might be wondering, okay, cool. But how does this gladiator fight? Well, this is her weapon of choice. She's got a longbow. She's got with a floppy string. She's got this blade. Don't know if there's a proper technical term for that blade, but that's what it is. And if she's got that bow, she needs arrows, yeah? Oodalali, check out that quiver. And arrows. Love it. Look at that. Adam, don't know if you're still here, but my Tadala has way more shots than your Robin Hood does. Here's the peg. There's the hole. Place it there is where it's intended. It actually, I don't believe, will fit. That hole is smaller. Yeah, it's meant to be here on her rear end. And it's actually meant to be this way based on the angle Look at that, man. She has this blade, but what's she gonna do with that blade when she's using her bow? Look at that. Look at that. That was the issue that I had with Berenice. They gave her this cool little thing, but her blade actually doesn't fit. Come on, XesRay. I've heard from other people, if I heat it up, I can make it work, but yeah. So she's got her bow. Oops, wait, let me think. She's going to pull her arrows out with this arm. She's going to hold with this. You've got the gripping hand on. I'm not going to bother with the hands and the feet for a reason, although the K-Swiss does need to go. Because I already know, I've tried, and I don't want to mess with these too much. You got to heat these up really good to get them off. But let's pose her up real quick. For the yoga people, I forget what this pose is called, but and she can grab lolly. Let's do that. Let's do something like that, right? And she is ready to go, right? Look at that silhouette. I know it's blurry, but check it out. Hey, you gonna get some of those arrows? All right. So that's Tadala. I will say you might be wondering, like, well, didn't Lyn come with any accessories? She did come with another one of these. I believe it's the exact same one from the first one. Ooh, oh, I'm so bad with these. Don't want to mess up your manicure, but oh, look, I'm totally bending her thumb. There you go. There's her club. And that's Tadala, and that is Bat-Lyn. Yeah, I wish Robin had a functional quiver. Yep. Oz. No, yeah. Very nice. Actually, I want to go back for a little bit. John, figuratively speaking, was asking, is she 6 or 7 inches? And so the XesRay figures are comparable to your Masterverse, right? So it's closer to a 110 scale, about 7 inches. Tape measure, if you're curious. All right. So, yep, right there, roughly. No, right to the top of that helmet is 7 inches. Evil-Lyn is actually Evil-Lyn's ears are probably 7 inches. So Tadala, if I'm actually on angle, more like 6 3/4 to the top of that helmet. Okay, if I had to compare, which I don't have to, but I'm gonna. Definitely the level of detail on the sculpt of this XesRay figure is of a higher quality, higher level of detail. I will say that these figures are not cheap. She was 50, I want to say, on 5K when I got her. And Sorceress Lyn is roughly $20. Hovers at around $21.99, I think. So, take that for what it is. You're definitely paying for a little bit more. But I will tell you, in terms of this sort of like indie, the rise of the indies, right? Whether it's Four Horsemen, Spiro Toys with their Animal Warriors of the Kingdom coming out soon, arriving soon. Savage Crucible with their Kickstarter and the likes. The level of detail on on what we can now sort of expect and know is possible It's ratcheted up there, right? If there's an arms race, if you will, these indies have been definitely just raising the bar of what adult figure collectors, toy collectors can sort of come to expect from their toys and their collectibles. They can't. There's no way, like, in terms of this comparison and contrast, super high detailed sculpts. In this case, no sculpt, right? No texture. Deco's awesome. Again, more printed, more illustratory painting here, pushing towards the photoreal. Tadala has, if we can kind of go back to the face, come on, her helmet is on there. Good. This figure, compared to Berenice, I think it's the shape of that chin. See, here's the problem, Adam, with that quiver, is you're going to be spilling arrows all the time like I just did. But these arrows, check out these arrows. Man, that is awesome. Look at those arrows. Very, very cool. So if you take a look at the face, right, head to toe paint, very cool detail. There's not a ton of shading on her face, right? I gotta say, I really like the way that Mattel handled this face. I think they did a really great job with her face sculpt. And sorry, her face deco. Again, love the Susie Sue makeup. I think Tadala looks amazing. Of course, Tadala doesn't have all the dramatic eye makeup that Evil-Lyn has, and nor should she. She's a gladiator. She don't got time for all that. Nor should she have the sort of technology, I'd assume. So she looks pretty natural, right? She does have a hint of eyeliner. She does. Or maybe those are just really nice full lashes. Her lips look real sort of natural. Love it, right? Anyway, I don't know how to compare the faces and the deco. I think they're both great. They're definitely just different aesthetics. And what else do we want to compare? There's no soft goods on this thing, but as far as the accessories, we got each of these individual arrows, right? We got the quiver. We've got the thoughtfulness about where you put your weapons. The paint jobs on these things are awesome, right? You can't touch that. That's fantastic. I talked about the gold, metallic, K-Swiss. Man, great stuff. Versus, there's a metallic here. That's cool paint, but it's just different, right? I mean, it's especially hard to compare these two because one is retail for $21.99, the other is not. But if anything, let's just leave it at they're both they're solid quality, both of them. They're great action figures. And one is by a mega corporation that's been doing this for a long time. And one is by XesRay's Studios, a newer studio. I don't know how long they've been, or I don't know the people behind it, but probably they do not have the same resources that Mattel does, and they're holding their own. And I think that's all I want to say is these indies are holding their own, and oftentimes surpassing what Mattel can offer us, or Hasbro. But again, I'll leave it at it's a draw, and the indies are holding their own. And you're going to hear a lot about that because I feel like more and more people are realizing that we're in this new moment of toys where these smaller companies are definitely bringing us some new things, some exciting things, pushing us in terms of the types of IP we can expect, right? They're coming out with brand new things, not based on something from the 80s. not necessarily tied into a movie or a TV show or a comic book. It's just toy designers with an idea and they make it. We've got the tried and true Mattels of the world reviving the old toy lines that we love, right? And giving us more. Again, I don't know. I don't really feel the need to say one is better than the other. I'm satisfied just saying these new indies are dropping some dope toys and they're holding their own, and I'll leave it at that for today. Okay, let's see where we're at with the chat before we sort of close up. I agree, Hedgehog. She looks killer. I'm sold. I'm actually surprised that you don't have her already, man. I know that I feel like I saw some of these on yours. Maybe it wasn't your channel. It might have been Billy Beige's actually. Check these out for sure. Oz is saying yes. Oh, yep. I seen. Thank you for dropping in. Talking to Oz. Yeah, sorry, that's John. Those are great figs. I agree. Let's be real that they're not cheap. XesRay figs are not cheap. Oh, hashtag toy renaissance. You'll probably hear a little bit more about that. That's something that our historian slash documentarian Toy Connections has coined. And Eldor, great stream, sir, and good night there. I'll be popping over to Adam's live now, and good journey all. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot going on, and it's Friday night. It's 7 o'clock over here. I'm going to wrap it up. So we didn't necessarily get to look at the Hasbro of it all. We didn't get to that other one. Those will be coming soon. I just wanted to do an unboxing, a quick unboxing. You know me and estimating time. So I hope you appreciated coming through and checking out some of the women, the fierce female figures on a Friday night. Nerdy alliteration. This young one does not have her stand, and she is kind of problematic. I hope you enjoy taking a look at these. I love both of these figures. I have no complaints, like true complaints, little nitpicks here and there that, that soft goods, that's going to be an ongoing thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this tribe of mine we've got going on here. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I'm still working on this channel, trying to figure out what it means to be a toy tuber. I don't have any plans for anything else maybe releasing this weekend because I'm just going to edit and see what I can get out. I would love to get another Brick Something news and check out the Needless Ephemera we saw since the last time. I do have some plans to do some interviews of different customizers, of some toy photographers and other folks I've been lining up. I just need to make it happen. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I could definitely use the help. I'm young. Things are early. Let's keep getting those numbers up. Tell your friends, tell your fam, all of those things. And absolutely, Toy Connections is the Ken Burns of ToyTube. Thank you, Oz. I really appreciate it. Yeah, check it out. And yeah. I do know that I believe next weekend we will be, myself, Oz, Eldor, Jesse from, so Jesse and Sean are going to be doing Legion's class again. So look out for that. I'll put that on the community tab of my channel. So all the more reasons to subscribe, folks, and click that notifications button, do the likes and all the things. All right. So I don't really have a ton. I don't have a clever way of ending. And so I've been watching all sorts of different ways of ending streams and all that. And I will tell you, like, one of my favorite ways of ending is like this whole thing that I saw